Yes, family. What's going on? A very good Monday to each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. Mm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm. I'm gonna let everybody take their time to come in. You know, make yourself comfortable. This is MQT number 54. And my name is Boddhi Satva. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, welcome on this new episode, or this week's episode, I would say, rather. And I was trying to do the show from OBS, but then I'm encountering some weird issues with trying to match the music in the background and my vocals, like what's being played right now. Let me just change these lights. Yeah, this is a little bit better. For some reason, I can't seem to be able to make that work for whatever reason. Strangely and oddly enough, but anyways, I switched back to StreamYard, which I think works just fine as well. But unfortunately, then I don't have the little, the names of everybody, donating that appears in the lower part of the video. But anyways, that's not a big deal. As you can hear from my voice, I caught a cold. That's right. This weekend I was in Amsterdam on Friday, and on Friday we I say we because I usually fly with my agent, who's Nuno, and we were invited to perform at the Tribes Netherlands, Tribes NL, which can be confusing if you're from the scene and you've known Tribes Records, Zephyr Saints label. It's a bit of a confusing name, but yeah, they're not associated. This is Tribes NL, and it's powered by Sin City and Wax Fans, and they launched the event on Friday, which was happening at Paradiso, which is a legendary venue in Amsterdam. And man, what can I say? It was crazy. The energy was mad. I mean, I have to say that I was impressed, and so I want to start first by saying hats off to the team for pulling through such a beautiful event, because it was amazing to see. I mean, so many beautiful people. Honestly, it was indeed a display of just beauty in general. Everybody was happy, everybody was feeling good, and the vibe was just out of this world. The venue was jam-packed. I believe there was 2,000 people looking for tickets online, and 1,000 people outside queuing to get inside the venue. So you can say that it's beyond a success for them. And they had invited some prestigious guests from the Ngom sound, such as QDJ, Musa Keys from the Amapiano sound. So there was a nice, beautiful display of the Afro house, Amapiano, Ngom, Afro tech sort of musical influences and key players. And it was definitely an experience that, for me, enters in the books, because it's for the books indeed, as they say in English, proper English. Remarkable experience. So yeah, before we DJ'd, I DJ'd that night. I was performing at 1:30 a.m. I had a chance. So as soon as I landed in Amsterdam, dropped everything, bags, refreshened up quickly at the hotel, hit the road for my first meeting with my publisher at Felix Meritis, which is like this venue where everybody in the music industry during Amsterdam Dance event kind of like gravitates around, and then from there they usually go to other places. But actually, with the years, ADE kind of like um, spreaded itself out through the city of Amsterdam. So it can be a little bit more complicated sometimes to access one venue and then the other. If you want to attend different events, it's a bit of a nightmare. Like, even just catching a Uber is just mad. Preston Joan, what's going on, man? Yes, it's actually online. I posted it in my YouTube on the YouTube posts. If you click on the link, you can actually see the whole live, which is amazing. They broadcasted the whole show of Friday at Paradiso, the Tribes and at Paradiso, from beginning to end online. So it's available on the YouTube channel. So you can find that link here on my page and check it out. So yeah, just trying to commute from one place to another is a bit chaotic. So by the time you try to get your Uber, it says like it's going to get to you in like 15-20 minutes. That's the exact time it takes you to get to your point of rendezvous. And so, oh yeah, you're going to like it. And so, went to see my publisher, and he was like, yo, let's hit the Beatport event at the W Hotel. So got to the W Hotel, which I had never been to before, in Amsterdam, I mean. And then as we got to the W, the venue is actually really, really nice. The hotel is really, really nice. I mean, it's W, right? They don't do anything, that's below level. It's always top notch. So got to the top floor, saw a couple of friendly faces. Had the pleasure to bump into legendary house DJ producer Todd Terry, the big brother. Shout out to him for we're showing love and consideration. Met a couple of other up and coming or about to be established, or guys and gals doing their thing already in the game, that I just really didn't know of before. So it was very interesting, very interesting to just connect and mingle with all these folks, and all that. I can't really pass forward this information, which is very important, but we're still in a phase where we don't know what's going to be the outcome of it. However, it's a big news nonetheless, and it had spread, within certain circles during the Amsterdam Dance event, the conference. So I was a bit surprised to find out. Well, not surprised, but I mean, you're like, oh, okay, cool, you know about it. Not that it's secret. It is a secret, or not that I didn't post about it. But anyways, so the Grammys have accepted my album. The Grammy committee has accepted to let my album enter in the competition alongside other albums. And so my album is competing for alongside other albums within the genre of Best Alternative Music Album for the Grammys. So that's pretty massive, because hundreds of thousands of projects are being sent to the Grammy committee, and let me tell you that to have my music being considered just to enter into the competition, we have not been nominated, none of these things. There's still a long way to go. We will find out what are the results in November, God willing. So, then we will see how far we went. But the simple fact that I was able to be considered and granted the opportunity to enter into the competition is not something that happens to everybody, and I'm extremely humbled and feeling very fortunate to have had this opportunity. So, giving thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you, Preston. I appreciate that. So, it's a big thing. It's a big thing because I remember not so long ago, man. A lot of people like, yo, Boddhi, you should get a Grammy for your work. Da da da. I was like, yeah, for sure. We'll see how things pan out, etc., etc. And so my team at Batakari and BBE, we were like, okay. I said, look, we got to make sure that we submit the album in time. So we did just that, and it's a very peculiar feeling, because this is a feeling and an emotion and a desire that I have nurtured through the years. So seeing it somehow unfolding in a favorable way feels very, 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 very special. And by favorable way, let me emphasize on that. I mean, just being able to enter the competition, just being able to be there in that space and um, seen, just that is a win. Now, anything on top of that will just be the cherry on the pie. So, it's in God's hands, as we say. We shall see. So, with that being said, so there was, quite a lot of love, being showed. Congratulations throughout the people I came across to who was either familiar with my work or had heard of whatever. So that was cool. And then we ended up going down to this famous record shop called Rush Hour in Amsterdam, which is a really really infamous record store, selling some really really quality music, vinyls. One of the few record stores that are still selling vinyls. I mean, there's vinyls still selling, obviously, but there was a phase where vinyls were going down. That was in the mid 2000s, early mid 2000s, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if that's the case. But anyways, and Louis Vega, who, for those who may not know, Louis Vega is a Grammy Award winner, producer and DJ, legendary, one half of Masters at Work alongside Kenny Dope Gonzalez. The man is considered to be the Miles Davis of house music. Worked with all the biggest artists of the 90s and the 2000s you can think of, from Madonna to Jennifer Lopez to Mariah Carey to you name it. The list is crazy, and this is the man that also entrusted me with his investment back in the days, and helped me release my first album. So I was one of his artists signed to his label Vega Records in the very very beginning of early stages of my career. And I hadn't seen him in a while. Anania as well, his wife, was in town, but I didn't get to see her, unfortunately, and as time was super short. But so he was playing in the basement, so we end up getting there. Hit the basement, a couple of old school heads. Got to bump into the big brothers, Jimmy 326. If you don't know those names, obviously those are like legendary DJs from the house music industry, New York, etc. And men and women that have a remarkable taste in music and just amazing artists in general. So Jamie is like, yo, what up, buddy? What's going on? Where you at? The brothers is just this beautiful energy, man. And so as I'm greeting him, I see another big brother, DJ Roman NYC, legendary DJ, producer, a big bro that has always showed me love, whom I've planned to bring on the show as well. I'm actually going to try to bring Jimmy 326 as well. I'm going to try to bring all these guys along the way as time permits them, and have conversations about just the music industry, etc. There's those guys are living legends, and I want to get them on the show, so I will. Anyway, got to hang out with them a bit, check out Louis, give him a big hug, and then dash, because we had to go. I mean, I had to go get ready because my performance at Paradiso for Tribes was at 1:30 a.m. So I still wanted to get some food. And a little parenthesis here I want to put into perspective. So anybody who knows my story knows that I've lived in Belgium for 17 years. So through those 17 years, I've had the chance to be in Holland quite a lot, performing, etc. And in the early stages of my career, it's not like I had much money or anything like that. And every time I would come, I would come on the strength. Like I wouldn't not necessarily be in the nicest hotels. I wouldn't be in the best of conditions, but it was cool. It was nice. We would stay at somebody's house or someone's Airbnb or whatnot. But I'm not saying that it was ever bad or anything, but it was just a little bit more low key, I would say. And anybody who knows me knows I like my comfort. I like a certain level of excellence in the kind of comfort I'm in. Not saying that it has to be necessarily over the top, but if it is over the top, I'm not uncomfortable in that neither. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that we know where we come from and all that. But at a certain point, when you travel extensively, um, and you see the impact on your body, you want to enter a place that feels comfortable. You want to get into this hotel room that is comfortable, warm, classy, and just gives you a sense of luxury and relaxation, so that for the short amount of time you have there, you can just be relaxed. So it so happened that this was exactly the case, on this journey to Amsterdam, um, for these 24 hours. And hotel was really nice, room was on point. And right underneath the hotel, there's a restaurant. I would always pass in front of this restaurant, and for some reasons, right? It's not like it's any big deal or anything like that. But for me, years ago, every time, I don't know why, every time I would pass in front of this restaurant, which is called Momo, something about this restaurant attracted me, and I was like, yeah, one day I'll afford to get to this restaurant and have dinner. Um, and well, not that I couldn't afford in the years I was formulating that thought, but nothing really was enticing or was conducive for me to eventually end up going to that restaurant for whichever reason, um, at the time. But anyways, being that we were staying in the hotel where you know the restaurant was located at, um, I was like, "Yo, no, let's hit it." He was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." And it's not a cheap restaurant, it's a rather expensive, spot. You gotta look at least 100. And yeah, absolutely, Presta, you're right. Beautiful designed hotels and restaurants are very inspiring indeed, very inspiring indeed. Um, and so the it's not a cheap restaurant. Like you can expect to spend at least 150 to 200 euros a head if you really want to be super comfortable. But I mean, without going super crazy, I mean, you can end up paying a bill of 250 euros, and that's already quite a lot of money. Uh, so with that being said, I mean, I was like, yo, we here, man. It's not a question of celebrating any victory or anything like that. We just need sometimes we need to take a moment just to appreciate life and to appreciate blessings. And you know what? Money comes and goes, right? And of course, this doesn't mean that we shouldn't really be mindful of how we spend our money and where we and where we allocate these expenses to. But truthfully, if you don't leave now, you're not going to leave in 20 years. I mean, you might, but you know what I mean? Take what you can take now while building for tomorrow. And I think it's not conflictual at all. If anything, it actually adds to giving you and enticing you to just do more and be committed to your mission. And so it was a small moment of like a short moment of like just appreciation and gratitude for being there, because these things are taken too often for granted whenever you reach a certain level of success and or comfort. um I've lived through not having enough to eat, not knowing where the next money is going to come from, um living in scarcity and in absolute doubt of tomorrow. And music has always been my sole source of income. So when I hear people talking to me and say, well, you shouldn't do this, I'm like, yo, you don't know what I've been through. And again, it's not like, and the funny thing is that my spectrum in life, I had a pretty large spectrum of experiences, from experiencing wealth with both my parents, um, who worked really hard in their lives and afforded us a super super high level of comfort in our childhood, my sister, my siblings, and I, and to losing everything and having to build our own, which I think is painful at the time, but it's beautiful because then you learn that you've got to do it yourself, and there's no better lessons in life. And I'm glad and super thankful that I was able to build, and I'm able to build what I'm building, right? And I'm yet to be doing much more. But with that being said, taking this moment of acknowledgement, being there and enjoying this nice meal, which, by the way, I have to say, I'll repeat that again for me to even talk. So I'm not paid by these people, by the way. So, can nobody come at me sideways? But the chef at Momo in Amsterdam is a man. For what I was served together with Nuno, and we are foodies. We travel the world. We experience different kind of foods. We love food. This man's and his brigade, the cooking, the flavors. I tell you, it was one of the most beautiful experiences we've had, culinary wise, and sincerely, I advise anyone who has a little bit of a budget to allocate for that. Go on a date, or just as friends, homies, just go out together and just chop some proper food, man. Asian food experience was absolutely out of this world, and definitely something that added to the quality of how the net will be unfolding. Because I always tell promoters that, and my agent, obviously they know that, like, we don't discuss, we don't negotiate when it comes to the quality and the level of quality we expect when it comes to hosting and accommodating. This is non-negotiable. There's got to be a high level of quality, and by that I mean, for example, if I go to Niamey, Niger, right, West Africa, I'm not expecting, and in that particular phase, I'm not necessarily into going to a 5-star restaurant. I'm going to go to the hood. Different countries, different experiences. You got to always keep things into perspective. Of course, we're going to hit the 5-star restaurants for sure. That's part of the whole thing. But me, I'm always going to go for the originators, the original food experience, the street thing. That's my vibe as well. Not taking that away from the experience, but yeah, you want to make sure that your guests, your artists, etc., feel well received. And by that, it doesn't mean that you got to spend thousands of euros neither, or dollars, whatever the currency you're in. But it just means that you want to make sure that you provide the best experience possible, and something that will remain unforgettable. And so, anyways, we provided that for ourselves, and we had this great time. Prepped up, went to the venue. Was amazing, man. Linking up with the little sister Cindy, Sin City. Man, big shout out to the whole team. Wax Fan, Ali, Ulissa, Barbara. Who else was there, man? Man, there was so many people. I can't think of, man. Well, anyways, everybody that was there, those that missed out, please don't take as any form of disrespect. I'm tired, but yeah, for sure, it was amazing to see you all and just have a great time. So that party was mad, 1 hour, intense, beautiful, and spiritual to the next level indeed. Next day, Saturday, I attended this panel where I was one of the panelists. And it was really, really nice. We were talking about South Africa and Amapiano, even though I'm not from South Africa, and I'm not necessarily a prominent artist in the Amapiano scene. However, I think I'm a voice of authority when it comes to Afro House, and definitely I can speak on South Africa, even though I am not South African, and I can speak on Amapiano, even though I'm not an original artist of Amapiano, because at the end of the day, it's all intertwined and interconnected, and it was really nice to be acknowledged for that and be invited to take part in this conversation and really, share some knowledge and some information and bounce some ideas off of each other. That was really, really dope. So yeah, I'll see if I can get these videos and post them here on YouTube for you guys. And so voila. And so Saturday night we had to fly back to Lisbon, so it was a very short stay, and that's how I got my cold at Schiphol Airport. I just removed my jacket for a moment. I was hot and cold, and the walk. Oh God, Amsterdam, man, you gotta have some good walking sneakers, walking shoes, whatever. You gotta make sure, like, if you're a big dude or big gal, make sure you got like the right underwear. You got, because you don't want your legs to start rubbing on that part, man. And I'm a big dude, you know what I mean? So I might be stocky, I might be going to the gym every day. That doesn't take away from the fact that I'm a big dude. So I got big thighs, man. When you walk for hours and you sweat, the skin starts to burn, man. Thankfully, I'm always traveling. I have like this baby powder with me all the time. It's cool. It keeps you dry. Very important. And so, it saved me from potential severe pains. Because you spend hours standing and you're sweating this and that, and even though you clean and all that, doesn't make any difference. Your body is going through a lot of different forms of stresses and movements. So you've got to be coming prepared. And so I was feeling and very uncomfortable, feeling hot. So I removed my jacket, and then I started feeling this little thing here, and I was like, ah, fuck. And I know it exactly. Every time I catch a cold, I start to feel this weird thing here, and I was like, ah, shit, here we go. So that's why you hear my voice a little bit muffled today. But anyways, with that being said, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an into what was the weekend like before, I touch a little bit on the topic of the day. But, feel free to jump in, if you have anything to say, if you want to take part, you are more than welcome to jump in the comments. So this past couple of weeks, right, I've been checking out a few things about red pill, blue pill, hypergamist or whatever. Like, it's just a bunch of different concepts, when it comes to like, people's interaction with sexuality, concepts of loyalty, etc. And I was like, look, this is very interesting, and so, I thought I'd talk about that a little bit today, see what you guys think. If you have any knowledge about this red pill, blue pill, I have a feeling it has something to do with, like, I would think it has something to do with some sort of like political partisanship, as in, if you're from the left or right, or Democrats or Republican. But it's interesting. So I just wanted to touch on that, even though I don't have much knowledge. As a matter of fact, I just wanted to maybe interact with you guys about the topic, see what you guys know of it. Red pill, blue pill, and that's pretty much what it is. And but loyalty for sure. Loyalty is something that I think, when it comes to relationship, right? And echoing this trip, I feel like the loyalty and the kindness I've shown to people, and I continue to show people, is something that I see being very rewarding, because no matter how long you've not seen somebody, you're both happy to see one another. Of course, shout out to Omar FNX, the whole gang, Mr. Silk, Eno Napa, DJ Mela, the whole gang, CL Assad, Anna Hayes, you know what I mean? And treating one another with respect and kindness. I think that's important. Even people you may not necessarily like very much, for reasons that could be sometimes explained. Sometimes there's no reason, you just don't like that person. It could be your own bias, whatnot. But with that being said, I think that if you still treat people with decency, it's going to take you a long way. And so when you talk about loyalty, I don't know, man. I think so many people have different concepts and understanding of what loyalty means. So while I'm lighting my cigar, think about it. I don't know who's in the chat. I don't know who's not. What do you think is loyalty? What does it mean to you? Take your time. The show is about an hour and 30 minutes, so we still have an hour going. So nice cigar. Did I tell you about this? Big shout out to brother Aluku Rebel Jody for the gift. Dos Hermanos, I think they're sponsoring him. So I'm not paid for this, by the way. Let's be clear. Well, but it's cigar brand that is growing their lives in Indonesia. They're based out of Indonesia. Of course, it's an Indonesian cigar brand, and it's two brothers. And so they gifted me with a box of their of one of their beautiful cigars. It's very nice. It's actually mild. It's not hardcore. So for anybody who never really smoked cigars, or just somebody just want to smoke a little one fast, but that's not heavy on that's not heavy or maduros, as they would say. This one is definitely light and sweet. So yeah. By the way, for those of you who are watching, make sure you press the like button if you're watching on YouTube, of course. If you're watching on YouTube, press the like button. If you're watching anywhere, press the like and share. Subscribe to this channel, of course, if you like the content. That's super important. But definitely the likes get the video to be ranked and to be publicized and presented to a wider audience. So your likes are most appreciated indeed. Yeah, so oh, I didn't see that. Okay, Céline, merci beaucoup. C'est ça, infusion thym, clou de girofle, je vais faire ça, t'inquiète pas. Merci beaucoup pour ce conseil. J'apprécie. For some reason, I don't know why. YouTube blocks comments with, but I have to unblock them here. That's why. Okay, got you. Merci, Céline. Merci beaucoup. Yeah, so loyalty, right? And I think I spoke about that before. I don't know which MQT it was, but it's an ever repeated center of interest. I think loyalty, friendship, love, whatever. Well, I don't know. For those of you who don't speak English and might speak French, qu'est-ce que vous pensez de la loyauté? C'est quoi la loyauté pour vous? Est-ce que c'est connecté à un sentiment amoureux? Est-ce que ça dépasse le sentiment amoureux? Est-ce que la loyauté se construit à travers justement cela, ou justement ça doit être créé avant? Enfin bon, qu'est-ce qui fait que vous êtes loyaux, etc., etc. I think that's a very interesting question, right? Selling saying loyalty brings a notion of honesty and devotion as well. Yeah, I agree. Yes, and because it requires for you, Rivera. What's going on, man? Good to see you here, brother. We're talking about loyalty, by the way. If you just jumped in, we're talking about loyalty and what it means for you, and how do you develop it, and when do you cease, being loyal to somebody? What would be something that pushes you to no longer be loyal to somebody? And an important question, actually, since I'm talking about loyalty, I want to ask you, as a man. Okay, no shit. Okay, I just took the conversation to the next level, but not next level, but to a completely different direction. So let me just put this question. Okay, if you're a man with a woman, you cheat, but you're loyal, can you still be cheating and be loyal at the same time? Is it something compatible? That's a question I'm asking you. Can you cheat and still be loyal? That's a question. Honestly, lad, the concept of going somewhere else outside of your household, willfully, and I'm answering my own question now, because obviously, I mean, I could send you guys an invite. You can jump in the conversation if you want. This is on StreamYard, so I can just send a link and you jump in. But I truly believe that the concept of cheating on somebody is to be avoided. Like you've got to be able to control yourself, and in order for you, I think, to also not damage a potential relationship, you have to know yourself. And to know yourself means, for me at least, having had enough experiences in my life that allow me to truly see me for who I am instead of who I want people to perceive of me. I think that's really difficult, because there's a sense of shame. Well, maybe not nowadays, because everything is so trivialized, everything is becoming so normal. But which is cool. I mean, whatever. Everybody cheats, right? But the thing is that, does it make it all right? And so I wonder at times if this is intrinsically a double standard that us men have, where we can love our woman and cherish our woman and still be messing around with someone else outside of this relationship. I do understand that there is indeed, Rivera, you're saying, if you have an affair that is simply disrespect, lack of character, I think you can still be loyal to someone on bad terms. Sure. I agree. I think this comes down to your trait of personality and your principles in life, right? How you've been raised and how you've been educated. If you actually understand the concept of loyalty, and you realize that, of course, outside of the relationship you've had with that person, whatever you've shared is truly something that is between just you and that person, no one else. Therefore, disclosing anything that can be damaging to that person's reputation post relationship is fucked up, Wait, Celine, I agree with you. You can still be loyal with your values, your engagement with yourself. Yeah, but that's the thing. You can be loyal to a fucked up trait of personality you have, right? Which means you're cultivating a trait of your personality that is absolutely negative and of disservice, right? And being selfish, as a matter of fact. So this is what I think. Everybody will see, what that means for them, and create a form of a way of approaching the topic that will make them feel good about whatever they might be doing that might not necessarily be considered as loyal. I do believe that okay, if you're in a relationship and you feel enticed to go mess around with another man or another woman, and actually for a woman to mess around with another man, I mean, if you talk to a majority of women, they say a woman does not necessarily open up herself like this to men. There's got to be some sort of emotions. Even though I do know some female friends of mine, acquaintances that I have, and they are very much like dudes. Like, their impulsion is very alpha, and they're, or maybe they act like they are just alphas and they're cool just messing around and that's it. Could very, very well be the case. But I think that if the motivation is just to conquer, because I think this is intrinsically true for us as men, I think there's a sense of conquering, and it's not so much like, maybe it's integrated now with DNA. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's at a cellular level. Maybe it is. I'm not going to push that concept too far. I'm too tired for it right now. But I think keeping it light and on surface, because obviously this is not a surface conversation, but we can still kind of like manage to touch on the topic without going too deep about it and postponing that deeper look into it later on. Uh, that's cap, bro. Everyone's wilding these days. That's right, Rivera. You're right. Everybody's wilding, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, I think if you're so enticed to go and mess around with another person, I always say this. You better, if your woman is hot at home. Well, first of all, I mean, you shouldn't need to go bang another chick or do whatever you're going to be doing, because it should be correct. It should be on point. Now, of course, if your chick is a psycho and you didn't see that before, whatnot, I mean, that's a completely different sort of story. But I mean, then you should have taken your responsibility and kind of like, uh, get to know the person a bit better before you got involved and brought kids to this world, etc., etc. And I think a lot of the time people get together because, well, it's convenient, and because they're like, okay, well, I got somebody at least, and that's it. Also, there's also the conversation of the top 20% of men who are those winners, those what they say, it's money frame and whatever they call it. So it's like you're amongst those top quality of males, and the rest of the 80%, which are pretty much average, don't necessarily get much attention, if any, by those by top ranging women. And I think that Rivera is saying that I believe people cheat to validate their ego/existence. I can get this woman, I can take him away from his wife, etc. True, true. And it could also be a complete lack of confidence in themselves. Complete lack of confidence in themselves, indeed. Lorraine is saying, Lorraine, what's going on, Queen? If both people have the same understanding of loyalty and boundaries in relationships, cheating becomes okay. If they don't, call Houston. We have a problem. You're absolutely right. Which I think eventually, to a certain extent, the relationship will enter into a crisis, because there's only so much you can take. Even though we are, look, I've had my phase where I was messing around. And had, man, yeah, I had my phase. Ooh, Lord, I'm messy. Yeah. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not proud of it. It's just experiences, Shit, a lot of guys doing their 20s, I didn't get to do them because I was focused on work and on my craft. So from my 18th anniversary until my 31st 30th anniversary, I was in the studio all the time, working. And I had a mindset, and my approach to the whole thing was like, okay, let me get settled in, da 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 da. And at the time, of course, I was in my early 20s. I had life experiences on certain aspects, that was pretty heavy and pretty maturing, but I had not matured as a man inside a relationship with, the opposite sex, as in a woman. And I had not been shaped yet by heartbreaks, etc. Even though I had one in my early 18s, that was, that led me to stay single for about 4 years or so. Actually, I practiced it's funny enough, I practiced, how do you call this? What's that word again? Abstinence for 4 years. It was funny. It was good though. I managed to reach some interesting spiritual realms, through that. I don't think I can ever be abstinent again, but I mean, yeah, it was nice doing it at the time. It was cool. I was in that mindset, not saying that it wouldn't happen again, but anyways, I guess now there's too much choice as well. So it's just like, but even then, that's the other thing, right? Even with all these too much choices, you end up not even choosing anything, because you're just like, because when you've had your experiences, and again, that's my experience. That's my reality. So I'm not saying it's the same for someone else, but at least for me, having had these experiences, having had to mess around and to play around, etc. I have multiple girls. at the same time. It's doing the whole nonsense. I have learned my lessons, and I've learned my lessons. Some of them, some pretty messed up ways as well. You realize that you're hurting somebody's feelings, somebody that you actually didn't mean to hurt, but because of the promiscuousness. And again, yes, at first, yeah, you agree on the boundaries of the relationship, and cheating big, and eventually you come with that conversation of like, well, you look, I'm not looking, because again, that's one thing that I pride myself in, and I may not have said the truth all the time, but I've also never lied about what my true intentions were. Which, obviously, if the girl would be asking me like, "Who are you messing with?" This and that, I wouldn't say, I won't speak on that, because that it's none of her business. However, I was very clear as to what was my reasons and what was my intention, right? But the thing is that I got burnt as well by doing that, because eventually I also found myself in a situation where, oh shit, while you play around, you start catching feelings, and you try to lie to yourself because you still want to maintain that image and whatnot, and then you end up, just feeling stupid, because not only you've hurt somebody that you actually really cared for, but because you were, dealing with your own stuff, and so these taps into so many different layers. And I think it's not a simple conversation to be to touch upon, but it is interesting nonetheless to think about it. Rivera is saying, when you were becoming famous, how did you deal with all the female attention? So the thing is that I've had female attention since I was a kid. So obviously it was nothing compared to what it can be even now, right, for example. But already back then, I was because I was the son of, right. My father was very known, my grandfather was a very respected politician in my country, opposition, da 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 da. I think there was already some sort of awareness that I was looked at as bon parti, or interesting potential. But I was a chubby boy, you know what I mean. I was eventually I ended up being chubby after my first trip to the US with my mother, and 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 well, I lost my mojo then. But for some reason, people still found me cute at the time, even though I was a fat little, uh, fat little fuck. But anyways, we're big boned in my family. On my father's side, everybody's like tall and massive, six pack, this and that. No six pack, doesn't matter. Bottom line is, like, you learn to live with what you got. So yes, answering your question, Rivera, I think that for me, I've understood that there is the image that you have of me, and there is me. But the thing is that I am me through the image you see, and even when outside, and even when I'm home, I'm the same guy. I know a lot of people have alter egos, so they're gonna behave a certain way, depending on the environment they're in. I don't. I'm the same guy wherever I am. Of course, I'm gonna adapt. I'm gonna, maybe my lingo, I might add a little bit more sophistication if I'm in front of people that think they're smarter or anything like that. I'll remind them that, hey, look, hold on, we're not gonna go that route, or if we want to go that way, we go, So I can code switch very easily. When it comes to attention of women, I understand that, if you have a certain kind of energy, you walk with a certain charisma, you walk with a certain, and you behave a certain way, you do things that are indeed attractive or whatnot, and you touch people as well. Because this is the thing, I'm not a bling guy, even though yes, I don't flash any big brands or anything like that, but I remain elegant and classy in my own ways. I don't have any external signs of wealth that is ostentatious or anything like that. Maybe good taste, maybe a sense of elegance, cool, but ostentatious signs of wealth. I mean, I've been raised to learn to keep things, cool, because you're not gonna be on top all the time. So whenever I would see a female acting a certain way, or being over the top, I would remind her that, look, I'm just a human being, and it's cool. Like, just take a moment, breathe, and also learning to study. learning to study, because as I say, never, and Rivera, you're an artist yourself. Be very careful when you sleep with your fans. You shouldn't sleep with your fans, as a matter of fact. But we all know that we break that rule, because some of our fans are beautiful women. If you're into men, whatever you're into, some of our fans can be very attractive and can have different approaches, different ways of talking to you that will make you feel a certain way. But you have got to understand that there is a certain level of control that is necessary in order for you to also maintain the respect that people have for you. That doesn't mean that it can have you can have a little vibe, but you've got to be very careful, because the problem is that the line between adoration and respect and deification to a certain extent, and hate and despise and slander and all that line is very thin. And so if you happen to well, I guess you're doing okay. Don't mess with the wrong one though. And you never really know. Actually, I mean, you can, but it's some are very good to hide their games. But there's ways to tap into that very quickly. So what I'm saying is that be mindful, and tapping into, for example, the fraudulent one that some people, everybody has different reasons as to what is motivating their desires, and their ambition or their plans, whatever is the triggering point for them. You got to find out what it is. And one of the way I realized works well is keeping things as real as it comes, and seeing how uncomfortable or comfortable the person is having to speak about certain conversations, deep, you know what I mean? So I want to sneeze, but I hate it when you want to sneeze and it doesn't come. Damn it. Anyways, so I think keeping it real is very important. Being very honest, brutally honest if necessary, with your intentions and what it is that you're in for is super important. But remember that, and this is something that I've learned, most of the time, I mean, women don't lay down with a man just for the sake of laying down. There's always going to be an aspect of desire, or a side of like, I want more than just sleeping with you in bed, and or you just taking me for your sexual fun, right? That conversation comes in often. It's like, well, what is this? Well, you know what it is. We spoke about it. What do you mean? I mean, that this is not serious. Yeah, but this is the third time, the fourth time we're having sex, so it must be good, right? Yes, it is, but it's nothing serious. So for us men, we look at it that way. But the thing is that a woman is like, no. I mean, not everyone, not every woman. I cannot speak on behalf of women for that. But I think for my personal experience and talking to other, females that I know and women in my, direct circle, it's like, good, dude. If you keep coming back, what is it that you're after? Because if it's not serious, then and some are just cool. Some are just like, cool. We have fun until I meet somebody that actually want to settle with me, and then I let you know, and we stop whatever we're doing. That's a more mature approach, a more convenient approach, because then not only the consensus is that, okay, well, we're having fun until we don't have fun anymore. And I think that this is the thing. It's like, people are just very dishonest with their feelings. And, as you said earlier, so a lot of people, they have these body counts and they want to just bang people out, and for different reasons, right? Some is very manipulative, some is just to exert some sort of power, whatever the case may be. I know for me, it was motivated by pain, because I've had several relationships that had really hurt me, because I was just the kind of guy, I was that guy that just gave everything, no holding back, giving you love, And unfortunately, I was giving that to women that was profoundly hurt by men before me. And so when I got there, they just didn't know how to handle the specimen that I was, because they're like, dude, we've never dealt with a guy like you before. Like, what do you expect? Like, I'm going to disrespect you and mistreat you because that's what I'm accustomed to. We have Tulani Zim. I guess it took you time to find the real one. Guessing it was never easy for you to really know that she came for you or what you have. Oh, I'm still single. I'm still single, Tulani. I'm very much single, and I'm actually not uncomfortable being single because I have the choice. Actually, I do have the choice, so I can pick and choose what I want and try. And if it doesn't work out, well, it's okay. I'll move on to something. But the thing is that even then, because I've also had my set of experiences and I've had my fun, and at the end of the day, how much of the banging are you going to do? How much of the pum pum are you going to bang? I mean, look, yeah, you can have sex all day every day, cool. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Yeah, of course, looks are different. Skin texture is different, smell, everything is different. Great, and I think that you got to come to a certain point where you need to be a little bit reasonable and be like, all right, cool, uh, and, and and how you become reasonable, I think, as well, is when you realize you've hurt people and you've seen them in pain and you've seen them dealing with it in a way that you would never want somebody to treat your sister or your daughter like that. And you're like, oh fuck, I just treated somebody that way. The way I would never accept somebody treating my own siblings or my own daughter. Should I have? I don't have kids, Liz, not yet, at least. And I don't want to have kids, but I've also understood because I've seen a lot of my friends before me having kids with the wrong partner, you know, and them now suffering, and these kids are being used, this and that, and it's very interesting because it's just like it's also not the fault necessarily of the woman either. There's just so many. A lot of us don't take enough time, and I'm talking about men now here, right? We don't take enough time to really look inwards, solving certain of our issues could allow us to be, first of all, picking much better sexual partners and reproductive partners, if you want to keep it very basic and almost, technical. Because men are very practical. You need a loyal woman, you need a good woman, and this and that. Certain you're not after the same criteria as women are after when they look at a man, right? You can find a woman, she's beautiful, but if she's at the cashier in a food store, it's good. She looks good. She seems to be cool. Whatever you're into, if you want to check her body count, what is this kind of bullshit? I mean, because at the end of that's also a stupid thing that we do, man. And I've been guilty of doing that, actually. Trying to understand the body count of a woman, how many guys you've had, like I'm pure myself, dude. Like I've had so many sexual partners in my life. Like, who am I to judge another person for the amount of sexual partners they've had? If anything, cool. I mean, it means you have experience. Fuck, it is what it is. Now, of course, you don't want the past to come back in the present. So yes, I do hope that your past, whatever that past was, which has nothing to do with me, doesn't resurge back to the present. And I think that merci Céline, merci beaucoup, thank you. But so are you as well, and so we all are. We are great souls. We are good people. I think there are genuinely a lot of good people. Some fucked up people, yes, but truthfully, we need to understand that in order for us to find a partner, and whatever that means for you, because again, I do think that monogamous relationships are not for everybody. For sure. Just like being straight is not for everybody. Some people are gay, this, that, and the other. Like at the end of the day, you pick whatever is for you. And it is your absolute right. As long as it is consensual and there is a mutual understanding of what this is about, by all means, bro, or sis, I mean, whatever you do, that's cool. But for them, those who are indeed into non-monogamous relationship and intercourses, etc. We would say relationship in that case, because intercourse is a different thing. My point is also understanding that, okay, if you want to have multiple partners, which if you have access to and you have the capacity, which a very small percentage of people in this world have, actually, as a matter of fact, I don't think if that's totally true, because I mean, as men, there's more women than there's men anyway. So I think that, the choice is pretty vast. I mean, one man can eventually end up with, dealing with 4, 5, 6 different partners. But how healthy is that? You know what I mean? Bottom line is, okay, great. I mean, you're having fun, great, cool. I mean, let's not even talk about STDs or anything like that, because that's obviously something of concern. But on top of that, but beyond all of that, the energetical aspect of things, if you are into these things, you're giving yourself to somebody different all the time. And that is something to be looking into, because that loyalty that we're talking about, as Celine was saying earlier, is loyalty to yourself. It seems first and foremost, and that's true. How loyal are you when you're giving off so much of your personal self without even checking if you're first of all meriting of it? Because I know there's been a woman I was super attracted to, right up my vibe, this and that, but I refused to touch them because I was like, you know what? Nah, what I want to do with you is not for the kind of woman you are. You deserve a man that wants to be with you, and I'm not in the state in my life where I just want to be with you or somebody like you right now. That's not aligned with me. But if I could have sex with you, I would. And because that's not, it's cool. Let's pass. What do you mean? Let's pass. Trust me, you deserve better. But you're great now. Yes, I am, but I'm not now great for you, right? That's not aligned with, And I think it takes honesty and courage, because us as men, I mean, how many guys do refuse free access to pum pum? Like, you got it. Like, obviously, if you have a bit of self-value, and you not even beyond the self-value, if you already have access to and you have choice, then you can take these kind of decisions, because you know that it's fine. You'll find something that matches exactly the kind of vibe you're into, or what it is that you're into. And I think that, bottom line, well, there's not a bottom line, but to conclude this segment of the conversation, to each their own. As long as you respectfully do what you do, you're not slandering anybody, you are entering into a consensual relationship, you're very clear as to what it is that you are doing, and you're very clear with the fact that Celine is saying sexual energy is sacred. Be careful with whom you have exchanges with. Exactly. It's a very sacred energy. It's not just in and out and that's it. There is a giver, there's a receiver in both sides of things. It's not just the woman that receives, the woman also gives. You understand? And a lot of things. The funny thing is, I see a lot of men saying, "Oh, I banged this." No, she banged you too, bro. Actually, she probably has banged you. You didn't, as a matter of fact. Because if you think about it, a lot of the time it's the case. Oh, Christella, si, c'est comment? On est en train de parler de loyauté dans des relations, des amours, des lobbies, des love. So, I think that, the bottom line is being true to yourself, being true to the person that is in front of you is not easy, but you must, because I will guarantee you, if you put a woman or anybody, woman or man for that matter, in front of a situation without showing any form of transparency, I can guarantee you it will backfire on your ass in a way that you have no idea of. I guarantee you. Nobody wants to be put in front of a wall. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You cornering me? Give me the choice. Let me know what's the 411, what's the breakdown. Okay, these are my options. It's either yes or no. Oh, but I'm scared. Scared of what? Yes or no? Bro, if it's yes, it's yes. I remember there's this girl, years ago I was in Belgium. Beautiful, beautiful girl, dancer. And, after party, we all drank. It was fun, cool. And I'm, we were vibing. I was like, yo, so what's up? So why don't we, don't you want to go out on a date with me or something? And she was like, and look, she was like, yo, Boddhi, you're nice, man, but yo, you too dangerous for me. I said, what do you mean? She was like, nah, there's too many women around you, there's too many this. I'm like, God. Yeah, but I'm not sleeping with any of them. Yeah, well, that's what you say. I don't believe you. And I was like, well, I guess you're right. It is what it is. But at least I was honest with her. I said, look, that's what I want to do. And she said, hey, I don't think I can handle that, because there's just you somebody with your position and what you do has too much. And imagine that was then. It's not now. Now it's, man, it's like, but I've always said I was raised by very strong women and charismatic women that taught me values that put values into me, including my father. I had a remarkable men in my family, bringing from friends of my father, etc. Remarkable men. Some of them were polygamists, you know, because you have to remember, in Bria, Central African Republic, my father being in the diamond industry, a lot of his clients were Muslims. Some of them had 5 wives, etc. And honestly, like, there was no such thing as dramas. I mean, and you should have seen the way these guys were talking about their wives. There was a respect. Everybody knew their position. It was impressive how they managed to agree with the consensus that, well, okay, this is what we entered in. It's cultural, it's religious, whatnot, but there's also true, genuine love. And look, some of these men today have passed on, and you should see these women still have, are still connected. Some of them are not. Some of these, sister wives, how you want to say them, as you might want to put it, still are, tied together. Say of it what you want, think of it what you want, believe that it is disgusting, all of that. You have that right. But you don't have the right to tell somebody that what they're doing in this or that matter is wrong. You can, it's your right to do it, but that's their right as well. So long as it's not against somebody's will, it's not against somebody's principle, and it is done in respectful manners, it is what it is. What are you going to do? If it's your daughter, for example, or your sister that decides to go with somebody that has multiple wives, and she wants to be one of the housewives, sister wives or whatnot, what are you going to do? Housewives is the completely different thing. Sister wives, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, you can. When she you give her all the values, all the principles you could, whatever. But people make their choices at the end of the day. People, again, you've got to know yourself. And since we change all the time, every 7 years, a new version of us comes to light. So you never know. You might be this way now, but in 7 years, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you're going to be somebody different. Nothing is set in stone. Since life alone is not set in stone, none of your decisions are set in stone. They can move, and they will change with time. That's why you work on your relationship with yourself and also with your partner. And I know that now because I've done enough fuckery, I've had enough fun, I've hurt enough people as well. And people have hurt me enough as well for me to understand, oh shit, okay. Now if I want to have fun with somebody, I'm still going to be very honest about it. But I know exactly that certain things I'm just not going to go for just to avoid certain nonsense, right? But for that matter, even that, at least for now, I'm not even feeling like it. I'm so busy working and being efficient and getting shit done that, yeah, okay, the simple idea of having to go into, the work of this and it's too much, man. My mind is too focused on other things. But again, you're getting older, you have different priorities in life. And I'm not saying that, I'm this. No, I'm not one of those people that say, I'm pure now. No, hell no. I still am a freak. But I have learned how to control that, because first and foremost, you can be a freak, you can still love your sex, whatever. But you've got to understand that there's a limit and there's respect of yourself first and foremost, and of the person as well. So, and I guarantee you, if you're not just one person that sleeps with everything that they found, you're going to be more respected. You're going to have more respect for yourself, but people will respect you even more, because then it's like, oh man, I know he could have been weak for it, but he stayed strong. And that brings about respect. And also it creates a safe space for that person to be in, because imagine that you can't control yourself. No woman, no humans of the opposite sex will feel comfortable being in your presence, because you're going to provide an environment of just a sense of no security. I don't think that's what you want. So yeah, Sexual energy is a contract of sex and soul. Okay, okay, yeah, I feel you. Celine says it's quite patriarchal polygamy because it's only allowed for men, so it doesn't guarantee the fidelity and loyalty of the. Well, okay, this whole concept of patriarchy, right? This is the thing. So it's like, oh, heterosexuals are patriarchal. There's patriarchy in homosexuality as well, and that's, I mean, because it's usually, yeah, because it's towards women. No, you can be. I mean, bottom line is at least that's my perspective on it. I agree that indeed there is a double standard, um, but that double standard is also something that is very much in touch with a rather serious reality about us as men. We are territorial, and yes, and it is true that, for us, being truly honest about it, a woman, your woman, is your woman, and if you have more than one, they're all yours. And and indeed, even though, the way it gets fucked up is if you stop treating, because okay, if you treat all of them, equally well, right? Okay, you can be for or against, doesn't matter. That's subject to argument. We can argue with a bunch of concepts and reasons and this and that and explanation as to why societal this and that. Okay, great. But if the people are well treated and that's what they into, where's the patriarchy? You know. However, I would say that it becomes very toxic when you're not treating the girl right. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Um, as far as making sure that you provide safety, you provide a sense of security. And I guess it comes down to that, right? Because the more women you're going to want to have, the more resources you're going to need. Problem is that a lot of people get involved into shit that they can't afford to entertain to entertain, because they just don't have the financial means or power to entertain that. I mean, when you hear about people having like so many different kids with so many different wives and they can't even afford a proper salary at the end of the month, it's like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because these kids do need a father. Because if there's one thing for sure for some of my kids, some of my friends that are children fruit of in a household with different sister wives and different siblings from different mothers, um, there are going to be some fights. Of course, there are going to be some little arguments, but at the end of the day, especially those who've grown to evolve without their fathers being around, they've built there's no resentment because they've not necessarily been favored in more or less ways by the dad or the mom, for that matter. Yeah, you will have some conflicts between the sister wives, some of them, especially those who can feel that, okay, he actually really loves this one more than all of us, because that does happen, yes indeed. But if the father has treated all his kids equally the same and given the kids equally the same things, well, proportionally to how grown up they were, etc., you know, there are great cohesion between the kids, and the father presence, not necessarily being a conventional one, still was significant enough for them to not necessarily develop daddy issues that you will find in more conventional sort of like interactions. And I'm not saying that trying to caution, polygamy or any or polyandry or no any of these things. I mean, to each their own. But all I'm saying is that there's a way to make it work. Now, is it right? Is it correct? Does it work for you? Does it work for me? Not sure. Even though at a certain point in my life, I thought I was a polygamist. I thought that was my vibe. And yes, certainly, yes, I think there's a part of me that is that. But at the same time, it's too much fucking work entertaining different vibes. It's like, it's too much work, man. I mean, if you with somebody and it doesn't work out, bro, like, let it go. It's fine. Yeah, okay, we can push, we can obviously fight for it as much as we want, and we should. But bottom line is, let's get over it. Like, it's cool. It's there's no need be obsessive about it. You can be, of course, if you truly think in your soul, in your heart that, no, this is supposed to happen, this is meant to be, then fight for it, you know. But yeah, anyway, took us far out from the conversation of loyalty, but I mean, I guess it's still connected to loyalty. It's still, sorry for the noise, man. Oh God. But yeah, loyalty, man. Bottom line is, yeah, with all that, you've got to learn that, you know, and in friendship, for example, it is very important to be loyal to the commitment of trust and respecting the secrecy of your past relationship with a friend, even if you fell, you know, you fell out, whatnot. Yeah, talk your shit, but certain things never come out. You know too much about one another for you to take the dumb risk to go and talk about another. First of all, as a man, this kind of attitude, I'm sorry, I don't respect you. If you do that, you don't have my respect. You're a man. You're not supposed to be, you know, behaving with such mannerism. You know, if me and you, we had beef or something, or we fell, or our friendship fell through, it happens. All good. We can still be respecting one another. We can still respect one another, and still have some form of love, even though the relationship is not what it used to be, without, you know, defaming one another or going to extents that are just absolutely ridiculous out of vindication. And I think that's an issue that a lot of people have, is having maturity and putting things in perspective that corresponds, or in boxes that correspond to this exact situation. So yeah, there's many layers to this conversation, and I'm definitely going to bring somebody on the panel maybe next week or the following weeks to talk about it. Selene is saying, your answer is interesting. I'm neither for nor against establishing respect. Sure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, even if you're in a I was gonna say straight, doesn't matter, straight or gay, whatever. If you're in a committed relationship and it's a monogamous relationship, you still gotta provide a safe space. You know, but the thing is that you cannot, this goes into different layers, but you can only provide a safe space for your partner if you yourself have done the work to know what it even means. Maybe you don't even know what it is to create that space for that person, because you've not had access to that in your life, for example, or some situations have happened to you throughout your existence that led you to not even know how to interact in these kind of terms. That's the thing. And it's like, you know, so safe space is definitely necessary. You gotta, you know, I would say, look, I'll give you an example. I met this girl, really pretty, you know, I'm single, so okay, whatever, you know, I can do whatever the hell I want. But you know, I realized that as much as she's pretty, this and that, okay, the looks, at a certain point, honestly, and I didn't know I was gonna think like that, you know, not that I was ever like, oh my God, falling for looks, but you know, when you're a little younger, you know, you get excited, you get animated by things. And honestly, not trying to sound blasé or anything like that, I'm not, don't get me wrong. But I was just like, no, let's just have a cool conversation. And I was telling this girl, I said, look, as a friend, like, you know, yes, you're pretty and all that, great. I acknowledge this beauty, no problem. But honestly, I mean this in a very friendly way, and I'm not trying to, you know, use that as a way to kick it to you. Far from it. And I know that this is also a strategy some guys could use to get to what they want, because that's going to be intriguing. The girl knows she's pretty. Most guys kick it to her, and you are the exception to that rule she's accustomed to, and you're not even trying to kick it to her. Then you're triggering the attention. Yes, okay, cool, fair enough. Maybe. But if you truly are sincere, even the second thought is not gonna, that's not even gonna cross your brain because you're just too focused on trying to share this good energy, good vibes, and provide some advice or whatnot, and make sure that that person knows how to maybe be more careful, more mindful when she interacts with a man in the future, giving her intel as to some of the things she needs to look into to avoid being ran over by a guy that's not worthy of her. You know what I mean? Because some guys do that. They just run over you. But I guess it applies to both side of the genders anyway. So, but it's more common for men, in that sense. If they get the opportunity, and they'll try different. And I think intelligence, in a way, if it's misused, can lead to some deep manipulation and create a lot of nonsense. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful not to fall for for stuff that may be a disservice to you, and may along the way make you lose self-respect for yourself, and make you do things that are not of your level. And that's for both for women and men. I've seen some guys, for example, like, and it's very interesting. For example, if you, I compare these women to spiders. They build a net around a guy, and they really are extremely smart about it. You don't see it; it's subtle, super sweet, this and that. And then slowly but surely, you start seeing your guy falling into that net and being trapped. And now there's this, and then every moves are being controlled. It's very peculiar. Some women are like that. Some men are like that as well. And it's very, very, very scary. And a lot of the time it happens in a way that is so subtle, and it strokes your ego. It strokes all. It actually ticks all of your insecure boxes, insecurity, making sure that you're either they're being reinforced for you to end up believing that only this person is your true friend, is your true partner, is your true ride or die. Which, if you think about it, yeah, it might be. Well, people say I'm the only one you can count on. I don't think so. There's a lot of people I can count on. And yeah, I may count on you for a lot of things, but I cannot count on you for everything. And that is a fact. Much as I'm a very solid guy, you cannot count on me for everything. There's certain things I don't know how to do that are just beyond my capacity. Do I know people that can help with that? Yes, I do. And can they be trusted? Yes, they can. But the problem is that we just want easy solutions. We just want easy access to what is going to be a quick fix for temporary fix for a long-term problem, and eventually you get entangled into this whole thing, and then this web, and it becomes complicated, and everything seems to be so abstract, and you're like, okay, but this and that and this other, blah 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 blah. You're just lost into it, and that's terrible. That's not something you want. So maintaining a certain level of awareness, a certain level of observation, and taking a certain distance. And I understand it's not easy to take distance when you love somebody, when you are, again, this whole concept of loyalty, because a lot of people are very good with the manipulation, with the loyalty, especially if somebody doesn't really know what it means, or they quite haven't grasped the concept and what it and made it theirs, because there might be a signification for loyalty that you can find online, as in what it means intellectually, etc. But I can tell you that if you've not practiced it, if you've not witnessed, seen what it means, seen it around you, and the different forms of it, it's going to be very difficult for you to identify when you're not being loyal, or when you're not being, or when you're being loyal or not, or when somebody's being loyal to you or not. If you like the experience, I think that's an observation I'm making. I'm not saying it's an absolute truth, but that's something that I've observed with some people. So with that being said, I think taking perspective upon yourself, looking at yourself from a certain distance, and being deadly honest. You don't have to tell people about your dark sides. We all have a dark spot. We all have a dark side. Some people have very interesting darkness about themselves. If you talk, we were just talking about sex and all that. People have very weird fantasies, and they feel very ashamed of them, and they live in that repressed emotion all their lives. And of course, some of those kinks are weird. I mean, but everybody is entitled to their kinks. However, does it mean that you should go for them? Some people are pathologically sick, and they're going to try to make it look like, no, it's just a kink, but it's not. It's just actually something deeper, and I'm talking about, for example, people who are into kids. That's the type of shit. I'm gonna fuck you up, and there's no way I can understand that. There's no way I can understand the concept. I cannot grasp the concept. I cannot grasp the concept of you being a grown adult looking at a little kid. I don't understand. A girl of 18 years old, no matter how hot she might be, and yes, she is at the edge of being able to get into a sexual intercourse. I don't see that as interesting. But again, that's me. But some people, okay, and I would say, okay, 18 maybe, okay, she's a teenager, but in Europe, okay, elle est mature, elle est majeure. Okay, she reached a majority, but still, bro, come on, man, make sense of yourself. But yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, to each their own. At least you didn't catch her when she was 15 or 14. Even though nowadays you'll see a lot more of that happening as well, which is very fucking weird, and it's like, these are adults that haven't solved some of their own problems and insecurities, and they think that by getting somebody younger that they think they can control, then but it's it's complex, man. Celine saying these notions begin above all with oneself, defining one's definition. Let me just reread it. I mean, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, but the way you put it is complex in the sense that you could simplify that thought process, I think. But I know that in French, I know the formulation in French, what you're saying, but yes, it is a very personal experience with another human being that has his or her own personal experience with you, and you cannot define that for them. You can only define what it means to you and see if it coincides with their perception, or their experience, or their side of the experience. But bottom line, man, I think that learning about yourself is very important. Digging deep into the various obscurities of yourself, as painful as not pleasant it might be, allows you to deal with them better instead of rejecting and pushing them back, because the more you try to put them under the rug, the more visible they will be. So just take off that rug and look at them, clean them, organize them. That's fine. We all have darknesses. We all have light in us, But hold on, let me see. Pardon. Okay, excuse me. I didn't see that. Okay. My experiences really led me to tell myself that the notion of loyalty and fidelity really depends on one's reality of loyalty and fidelity, which is unique for each person. Yeah, non. Ton anglais n'est pas discuté, c'est très bien. Là, je comprends mieux en fait. Ok. Now I get it. Yes, absolutely. It makes sense. Yes. But yeah, I mean, look, that's why it's important to date somebody that has or that shares the same sort of principle as you, as they say, or comes from a similar kind of background or similar kind of education, as they say. I don't know. I think that, you can be with pretty much anybody and really be comfortable in that relationship, no matter what the bringing or the background of that person might be. Obviously, there are some deep differences that could become problematic with time, especially if you don't share sets of values that are um, going towards the same direction. For example, how you're going to raise kids, how you're going to, reprimand kids, etc., etc. Are you going to reprimand kids? What kind of father or mother you're going to, all of these things come into conversations. But um, it's funny because I've seen a lot of men and women talking about the fact that it's fine. Let's talk about it later. Let's have sex now. Let's have fun now. Let's do it now, and then we talk about all these complicated things after. Right now, you're ruining the vibe. No, I'm not ruining the fucking vibe, because if we are indeed going to get involved into something that might have a consequence of us becoming, closer and eventually having a family or whatnot. Because let's not even fool each other. Like, we all have fun. We all enjoy, having sex and all that. And you know, if you manage to have unprotected sex and besides the fact that you could potentially, catch a disease, but let's say you don't catch it, but then you have a baby as a result of that. It's a responsibility you need to take, because nobody is forcing you to do that. You decided that you both were gonna trust each other and do it. Now, you haven't spoken, you haven't taken the time to know each other before even that occurred. Why? Because, well, it's too much conversation. It's too deep. Why are you so concerned about these things? We don't even know. Like, that's the thing. We may not know, but it's just conversational. And the thing is that but this I could break it down for you. It's going to be long, but I'm not going to do it today. But basically, there's so many layers as to how you can approach a conversation, and different conversations. Talk about them in a very third person kind of perspective, while still making sure that you get your point across, so that the person understands kind of like what are your set values are, and vice versa, and see how you both match or don't match in match on some aspects, and or don't in some others. And that can be one way. But of course, there's no better than experiencing life together, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And in today's society, we cannot hide the fact that, yes, distraction is there. Instagram is there. I mean, my feed has everything from science to philosophy to Pan-Africanist to girls half naked to this. Like, this is what it is. It's distraction, it's knowledge. We just have to understand that you got to be very self-aware. You got to be very connected with yourself. And again, my humble perspective as a man, and I'm talking to men, but also to women, because I think it can apply. It does apply for both genders and all genders, as a matter of fact. You have got to just really be in touch with yourself and understand in and out what kind of person you are. Because without that, you will never be free, and you will always be used and abused. Because lack of self-awareness leads you to be manipulated easily. So, amongst other things, of course, that can be used to manipulate you, but self-awareness is one aspect to just make sure that you're not being made a fool of, or you're not falling for the shiny whatever. With that being said, family, this was Monday Quality Talks number 54, with a Boddhi and a cold. I hope I didn't bother you too much with this noise of my nose and this and that, sniffing. Oh gosh, trust me, I hate being sick. And it's actually I haven't been sick since 2020, since I've had COVID. So cheers to that. Well, it's a small cold, so I should be over it in a couple of days. Merci à toi, Céline. Non, il n'y a pas de problème. On est là pour ça. Thank you so much, Rivera, for intervening. Tulani Zimu, thank you so much. Lorraine, Sister Lorraine, welcome indeed. Thank you so much for also intervening in the show. Presser John, everyone else watching, everyone watching the replay. Thank you for watching all the way through the end. If you have, then thank you. Appreciate you taking the time. Feel free to jump into the comment section. I know I've not been very interactive with the comments. There's just I've got to handle so many platforms, and rest assured, I'm the one handling all my socials. So I have to respond not only my emails, my WhatsApp, my this, my that, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. God, I have to post. I actually have to post the recap of my stay in Holland, which I'm going to post in my reels. Not in my shorts story here on YouTube. I'm going to do some YouTube shorts with the whole journey, so you guys can see what it was like and get a grasp of my of that experience from my from the lens of my phone. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, press the like buttons. You can always show some love at the super chat, the super stickers. Support this show, it's important. And as always, I hope that I haven't spoken about too much nonsense. Merci Christelle. Ah, vraiment, je te dis que le rhume là me fatigue. Non, en plus, j'ai chopé un truc là. Ma soeur là, me disait ce matin, elle me dit, tu as dû choper parce que je me suis réveillé ce matin avec, en plus de ça, pain, like all of this, like if somebody had like crushed my chest. So it's annoying as fuck, but it is what it is. My brother Rivera, man, I appreciate that, man. And check out Rivera. He's a dope artist, based out of London, and making great music. Check him out, Rivera RV. I think he goes by the same name on IG. Rivera, post your IG here, please. People go follow, brother Rivera is really, really, really talented, brother. Et donc voilà, merci beaucoup Christelle pour la bonne raison, merci beaucoup aussi Céline pour les conseils. Donc tu as dit temps et puis bon, tu me diras ça sur Insta. Merci beaucoup. I hope I have time. God, I have to go do this. I have to buy these things tomorrow. I'm going to try to go to the gym tomorrow though, because that's one thing that I'm like really all about. Merci. Temps j'ai pas girofle, mais je vais essayer déjà de faire le temps. Exactly, at Rivera _ check Rivera out. He's got some dope content. Just released the new song. It's I don't know if it wasn't Afro. It's like an Afrobeat. I'm a piano vibe, right? Check it out. It's really, really cool. And that's that, family. Thank you so much once again. A pleasure to be with y'all. May you have a beautiful continuation of your week. And I shall be seeing you this Friday for Quarantine Grooves. Yes, indeed. Live mix. It's going to be dope. It's going to be really, really, really dope. And yeah, as always, receive all my gratitude and love for your presence and your support. And yeah, God bless you. See you Friday for Quarantine Grooves, and next Monday for another episode of MQT, Monday Quality Talks. Hopefully with a guest. I don't know who else. I don't know yet who I'm going to invite, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. To all my Buddhists, as always, gratitude. Don't forget, live your truth. It's not easy, but living your truth, whatever it means, try to better yourself by living your truth, and be loyal to yourself first and foremost, and experience life the best you can. At the end of the day, we're here to learn through our trials and errors. Blessings, family. Peace.